Let's get started with last night's game in the NBA, and the series does come to completion. A back-and-forth game, once again, in favor of the New York Knicks. They beat the Philadelphia 76ers by a final of 118-115. Philly was 3-point favorites in the game. It didn't matter. The Knicks won outright. Philly did have a lead later into the game, but no one, and I mean no one, could stop Jalen Brunson. Another incredible performance for him. 41 points, 12 assists, and 3 rebounds. Joel Embiid did his best. He had 39, 2 assists, and 13 rebounds. And, of course, Embiid injured for the majority of the season, ended up coming back and playing at a semi-high level, I think that he would say, but last night obviously played great. Embiid, after the game, talked about playing, coming back, but obviously recognizing just how well the New York Knicks played against them.
Their sense after all that time and all those attempts of what kind of team and what kind of players you need to have here to make it
That's
work.
not my job. That's those guys. That's what they get paid for. Our job is to get better as basketball players. Every single year we find a way. I find a way to get better. He's gotten so much better, and I think there's another step he can even take. Some of the guys in the locker room, they've gotten better. So I think, every single year I've gotten better. So I'm excited to, keep working on my game, myself, and, keep getting better. So, but, when it comes to, guys around, I like our group of guys. I think we have, an amazing group of guys. Obviously, it didn't work out this year, but we also played a great team. The New York Knicks, they did a great job, and, they played together for a long time. So I like our guys. Obviously, they got a lot of decisions to be made, but I think the group of guys that we had this year, they were amazing, and I still believe that, if everything went right, we had a chance. So, but everything didn't go right.
Competitive series, at the very least, between the Knicks and Philadelphia 76ers. Knicks are moving on. Now, the Indiana Pacers are moving on as well. The Milwaukee Bucks did their best without Giannis in this series. It was not enough. Damian Lillard did play last night. He had 28 points, but not nearly enough. Indiana wins this one going away. 120-98 is the final, and guess who is headed to the second round of the NBA playoffs? It is the Indiana Pacers. Go figure that. Finally, a bounce-back game for Tyrese Halliburton and company. The Pacers were 5-point favorites. They won by a lot more. The game also went just over the total as well of 217.5. There's been a lot of questions about Damian Lillard and the combo of him and Giannis being together, and Lillard talked about getting ready to play, also dealing with the Achilles injury in his return.
It's just around-the-clock treatment pretty much. I did it last game of the season against Orlando. I kind of strained it a little bit, and then that whole week leading up to game one, I didn't practice pretty much the whole week. I was out literally until Saturday. So I think Saturday was the first day that I did stuff like with the team on the floor, just moving up and down. So I was nervous about it until Saturday, and I finally felt good, and we kind of got it under control for game one, game two, and most of game three, and then into regulation in game three, I think it was, tried to steal a ball and just did it all over again pretty much. So it was back to square one with that.
In the end, Giannis not playing, even with Damian Lillard just not enough. The Bucks with another early exit in the NBA playoffs. Will it be an exit tonight for the Los Angeles Clippers as the game is on the line and they will not have Kawhi Leonard on the road in Dallas? Dallas 7.5-point favorites tonight to close out their series with the Clippers. They're trailing 3-2 in the series. James Harden probably can't play any worse than he played last game. Probably fair to say that Westbrook can't play any worse than he played last game. I would expect maybe a better game tonight. We'll see if they can keep it close. Meanwhile, last night the Milwaukee Bucks game got out of hand in the end, especially for Patrick Beverly, who was seen throwing a ball at a fan who threw the ball back, and then he threw it back again and hit somebody in the head. My gosh, 2:32 to go in the game. Not a great look for Patrick Beverly, who also after the game refused to answer a reporter's questions for not listening to his podcast. I can't make that up. This is true. Okay, as we have talked about this week on the show, Minnesota Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch not going to miss a second of the NBA playoffs. He leads practice just one day after his surgery for his patella tendon, and the portion open to practice to the media Finch was walking around on crutches, interacting with players. The Wolves have left the building. They're headed to Denver for Game 1 of their Western Conference semifinal series this weekend against the Nuggets. They certainly will be up against it, but if there was ever a team that could compete with Denver, maybe this indeed is the one. Meanwhile, tonight, a pivotal game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Orlando Magic. Magic 3.5-point favorite against the Cavs. Jared Allen, meanwhile, of Cleveland, did not practice, but has a rib injury. They play tonight in Orlando. If Cleveland's going to win, they may need Allen, or do they sit him out and just hope for a Game 7? Kind of strange situation there, but we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, good news for him as an individual. He will not be charged with an assault claim that was recently brought to light over the last 6 months. Dallas police will not pursue the sexual assault charges with a alleged accusation that occurred back in 2017, with a woman saying that he assaulted her in the back of an SUV in a strip club parking lot. Dallas police said, we're not going to look into this any further. The Kansas City Chiefs have declined their 5th-year option on a very popular name that hasn't done a ton in the NFL. Kadarius Toney, disappointing 2023 season, lined up off sides. Everybody talks about that. Did catch a few big touchdowns for Kansas City coming over from the Giants a couple of years ago. 27 catches, 169 yards. Kadarius Toney will be looking for work in a couple of years. So will Najee Harris. With the market down on running backs, the Steelers have declined their 5th-year option on Harris as expected. They're trying to work out a deal potentially after the season, but running backs in general are not even getting paid $5 million, let alone $7 in the National Football League. And meanwhile, how about this story? Pittsburgh Steelers coordinator floated an idea that Justin Fields, their new backup quarterback or starter, depending on how things work out in training camp, could actually return kickoffs with the new rules. So we'll see what happens in training camp in the preseason if this ends up happening. National Hockey League, we got a Game 7. The Toronto Maple Leafs have forced it. They beat the Boston Bruins by a final of 2-1. Austin Matthews didn't even play in this game, so we're headed for arguably the best Game 7 in sports in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Kirby Smart, meanwhile, gets a new contract. He's the highest paid coach in the history of college football. 10 years, $130 million. He was scheduled to earn $10 million this year under his old contract. His salary increase will be $13 million annually and will be guaranteed through 2033. He can also earn some performance bonuses, $1.55 million each year. He's entering his 9th season as Georgia's head coach, and of course, they've won back-to-back championships and was incredible all the way up through the SEC championship last year. The New York Mets have called up their 5th-ranked prospect. His name is Christian Scott. He's going to pitch against Tampa Bay on Saturday as the Mets need some pitching help. And also, for those of you who are interested in streaming Major League Baseball games this season on Sunday morning, like you did last year with Peacock, it looks like, according to The Athletic, that Roku is going to take over that streaming service. Previously, again, on NBC's Peacock, nothing official yet, but it looks like Roku will be the next agreement pending them actually signing and putting this to paper. So that's the latest going on right now in news, notes, information, sports wagering info. But coming up next, we've got Davis Maddock in the house to recap what happened last night with Philadelphia and New York, Milwaukee and Indiana, and preview the games tonight and coming up this weekend as well.